Okay, so in front of us we have a Sapphire post. This is the RX 580, by the way. So, unlike most of the broken cards we get, we're not going to start with a voltage or resistance check, and that's because this is one of those pesky half-working cards. So let me go ahead and turn it on. So I should note that I actually don't know what the symptoms will be, because there's it tends to switch between either never posting or posting with artifacting. And in this case, it does post, and as you can see, the screen artifact. You should note that artifacting on my particular motherboard is normal for any semi-modern AMD card due to a lack of compatibility with non-UEFI motherboards, but in this case this is not supposed to happen even on AMD cards. So if I press enter, in a moment we'll see our biggest and best hint as to what's gone wrong. Okay, you'll notice that we have those two vertical stripes, and in a moment the computer will crash when the drive isn't to load. But anyways, like I said, we have those yep, there we go, there's a crash. So we have those vertical stripes. So let's switch over to my computer so we can determine exactly what's gone wrong. Okay, so as you can see, we're looking at an image of the RX 580, and in particular the artifacting that it gives when it tries to display a picture. So I should note that we can actually use these stripes that you see here to actually deduce exactly, well, not which channel is faulty. I should note that the thing about RX 500 and 400 series cards is that you can't always tell which memory bank is bad. Sometimes you can only tell which channel is bad. If you don't know, a channel constitutes two memory banks. In our case, however, I do think that we can tell exactly which memory bank is bad, given that the left half of the artifacting stripe is pretty clean and the right half is not as clean. Anyways, so the reason why we can use this to deduce which memory channel at least is bad is that we can use a image, not this one. We can use this particular image made by a Chinese technician, and unfortunately I can't credit him because I can't read Mandarin. But the thing about this artifacting stripe here is that its location is not a coincidence. The exact location actually tells you exactly which memory channel is bad. So in this case, we actually have a perfect match with the image itself. If we look at let's put this over here. If we look at the Windows logo, you'll notice that our stripes do not superimpose itself on the Windows logo, but rather seem to be one over. And if we look at this image by this Chinese technician, again, he has the exact same thing. So we can tell that our faulty memory bank is actually so not faulty memory bank, our faulty memory channel is channel A for this particular card, just like the one in the reference image. So as for which memory bank is which, we can again use another image made by somebody else, and well, this is used to denote the exact memory bank and location. So because we have a faulty memory bank at channel A, we know that our faulty memory channel at channel A, we know that our faulty memory bank is at least one of A0 and A1. So like I said earlier, I do think I've actually already fixed the card at this point, so I can tell you exactly which memory bank is bad, and I suspect that this not so clean artifacting on the right and not the left actually tells us exactly which memory bank is bad, but I don't have that much experience with faulty RX 580s, as I typically don't take them for repair. But anyways, let's go ahead and go back to the card and try to determine, or at least you'll watch me to try to determine exactly which memory bank is bad. Okay, so as you saw, we have either a faulty memory module at A0 or A1, but we don't know which. Now, I should note that in this case, we actually can tell exactly which memory bank is faulty, and that's because I've gotten a little bit lucky here. So, if we take a resistance measurement of the memory phase over here, you'll notice that we have 0 ohms. So in fact, our faulty memory module isn't just, well, faulty, it's also short to ground, which means that we can tell exactly which memory module it is using just a power supply. Okay, so as you can see, we're looking at the card from an overhead view. So this the thing about memory modules is that they tend to, when they go short, they tend to take enough power that you don't need to use a thermal camera. So we're going to use some alcohol to try to determine which memory module has gone bad. So since we know that it has to be either A0 or A1, we're going to put a bit of alcohol on both. So on the top of here and on the top of here. So I already have my power supply set up. It's set at 1.3 volts, and it's actually this probe. So if we just then put our black probe on our short power rail, we can see that this memory module burns its alcohol, but this one doesn't. So do it one more time, just for confirmation. If you're wondering, it's taking 3.8 amps at 1.3 volts. So, yep, as you can see, it just burns away the alcohol, but this module doesn't do that. Anyways, let's go ahead and switch it out. So anyways, as you may have seen, I replaced the memory module. You may notice it's a bit browner than the rest. But anyways, the first thing we want to do before we turn on a card, after we replace the memory module, is check for short on the memory phase, as sometimes these solder balls get stuck under the actual memory module itself and causes a short. And as you can see, we have 20 ohms, which is perfectly normal for Samsung memory. So let's go ahead and boot the card. And as you heard and will see, we have a BIOS splash screen. If you're wondering why it looks corrupted, that's because my motherboard has a non-UEFI BIOS, and all semi-modern and modern AMD cards have that exact corrupted screen. But anyways, the card is actually working. Let's put the cooler on and stress test it. Okay, so as you can see, the card's running game. At this point, it's been running game for a couple hours, which I think is long enough. Typically for these cards that have memory corruption, what you want to do is you want to make sure you test the card for an extended period of time, and sometimes you have these cases where it's not the memory bank but the memory controller that's faulty, and switching the bank is just a temporary band-aid. But in this case, we know it's the bank because it was short to ground. But anyways, the lesson for this video is that you can use the stripes that you see on screen to often make a diagnosis as to which channel, if not, and sometimes in my case, memory bank is faulty. You can also use this for R9, R7, 230, 300 series cards, and not just RX 400 and 500 series cards. But otherwise, I hope you learned something. If my channel has helped you out, consider becoming a patron, like the description, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.